Mark from Insomnia team. We're gonna walk through what Insomnia really offers. So for those of you who haven't heard of Insomnia yet, let's briefly talk about Insomnia. So Insomnia is an API client tool that will help you design, debug, test, mock the APIs. It really helps your productivity of the API development. So with Insomnia, you can debug, so you can design your API endpoints and you can debug them while you are developing. And you can mock the API so your UI developer doesn't have to wait for your API to be complete. You can also test them. You can store all of these definitions in local storage or Git repository or cloud storage and synchronize them and share them with your teammates. And it's really easy to pull and push. And you can also run these in CI/CD pipeline in automated fashion. So whenever you have a PR open, you can run against it as well. We've recently released a lot of new features. We recently released pre-request scripts as well as the after response script and API mocking, global environments and folder level settings, as well as the global search and many more features as well. So pre-request and after response script, this is literally before request is sent to the API destination or after you receive the response from the API endpoint, you can run some custom JavaScript logic to handle request body or response body. And we also have the API mocking now integrated with Insomnia, so you can define your endpoints and define the responses, and we can serve these responses to specific endpoints without actually having to run anything on your cloud. And global environments, we finally shipped this global environment capability. So you can create a global environment document and you can put all the environment variables that is shareable throughout the collection, not per request collection. And we also have the folder level settings as well. So now imagine that you want to have a folder level authorization. So all the requests under the folder can share the same authorization header. You can now easily configure that up. And we have a global search functionality shipped as well. So you can press Command P or just click the search bar, and you can easily navigate through different documents without having to go back and forth. We've also improved a lot of stability as well as the performance improvement. And finally, we have a collection runner. This is within your request collection, you have several requests. Instead of running them one by one, you can click play button and it would open up this view and you can select which request that you want to run simultaneously or in order. And you can just click run and it will run automatically. And because we have shipped the pre-request and after response script, which kind of serves as a test view. So you can see the test result in the request result pane. So we've gone through some of the open source capabilities of the Insomnia, but now we want to talk about some of the enterprise features. So why enterprise features? With Insomnia, you can collaborate your API develop, design, and testing. You can automate them, but with enterprise, you can do all of these with another level of security in place. So for example, with enterprise offering, we offer enterprise SSO, SAML 2.0 connection or IDC connection. Now recently, we also shipped the scheme capability as well. So your IDP is a single source of truth for controlling who can access what organization and groups. And we also have storage control to mandate cloud, local, and Git sync capability throughout your organization. You can also apply some invite domain policy to your invitation. So when you send an invitation to a user, certain emails are allowed or not allowed. With enterprise, you can also do a self-hosted API mocking, which I will show you in the documentation only. And mock requests are unlimited. So we also have now certified with SOC 2 Type 1 and 2. And with enterprise, you get enterprise support with the professional services. um, enterprise SSO, your access control is controlled by your IDP side, and storage control and invite control. We're gonna all take a look at this all in a bit now. So now it's demo time. So when you open the Insomnia, you will see the login screen first. And when you click any of these login options, it will prompt to sign into the Insomnia application. And you can click launch and open the link. Now it's signed into the Insomnia application. On your left side, there is a list of organization. It's just like how Slack would show you. The first square being my personal workspace. Anybody who signs up with Insomnia will get free personal workspace. And the below is organizations that you may own or you may be part of. Right now, there's nothing at all in either of these organizations. And we're gonna create a first collection together. So here on your right side panel, there is a plus create button. When you click this, you have 5 options: request collections, design document, mock server, and environment and git clone. So request collection is literally just very simple document for only sending HTTP request. Design document combines the request collection as well as design capability and the testing capability. And mock server is to configure the mock server with mock routes. Environment is for the global environment. And git clone is to have a git sync so your git repository is a single source of truth. So for this, I'm going to just quickly click request collection. I'll say my demo collection, create, and it will navigate you to request collection page. So now here you can select the base environment. You can configure the environment variables for this collection only. Or you can add a cookies, or you can add some certificate if your API requires a certificate to be sent. For this demo, we're not going to touch any of these. So now here, when you click plus button, you can see folder, HTTP request, event stream request, GraphQL request, and gRPC request, as well as the WebSocket request. You can even copy from curl, and it will just generate the HTTP request. Or you can import it from the file as well. So we're going to just click HTTP request to simply demonstrate the HTTP capability of it. For this demo, we're going to use Rick and Morty API, which is a public API to list characters of Rick and Morty show. Let's say we're going to do get characters endpoint, and we're going to hit HTTP rickandmortyapi.com. And I believe it was Kate API and then character. Yeah. So when you click send, now we've received the response from the API. It's purified, so we can go through them, or you can even see the source code of it, the raw data, or you can export the response as well. I'm going to just switch back to the visual preview. And here you can also search through the property of the response. So for example, here, if I do $.info, give me a second, $sign and info and count. Yeah, there you go. So you can just apply the JSON path here to show a specific property of the response. You can see the header. You can see the cookie sent by the server response, test result view, which we'll go into in a bit. And then you can even create a mock out of the this response. When you go to the console tab here, you can see the timeline view of what happened during the handshake. You can see, you can run as many requests as you need, and then you can see all the history of it. So when I click again, I'll see another one. You can go through the history of it as well. You can click clear, and everything is going to be clear too. So this is the HTTP request. It works with all the HTTP verbs. And now the next thing I'm going to create is the GraphQL request. Thankfully, with Rick and Morty API, they also offer GraphQL endpoint as well. So I'm going to use GraphQL endpoint too. And mortyapi.com and GraphQL. So with GraphQL, the first thing you can kind of see here is the error fetching schema. Maybe there is a typo here. rickandmortyapi.com. GraphQL, yes, that's why. As you can see on the right bottom corner, there is schema fetched notification. So that means we've fetched from the introspection schema of the GraphQL server. Now, when you click this button here, it shows the show documents, so show documentation button. Once you click it, it's gonna open up the drawer sheet where you can search through the query types and fields of the this GraphQL endpoint. So let's say there is a query, and here are all the fields. So we're gonna get the characters. Okay, so characters has the arguments, page, and filter. So let's say we're going to write query get characters. Guys, I'm a little sick. I'm sorry, guys. So yeah, so we're gonna put the page integer here, and then we're going to select the characters, and page equals to page, and then we're gonna also select, let's say, info. And what are the info here? So info has the count, and next pages, previous. Okay, I'm just gonna basically select everything and then go back here and the results. In the result tab here, we're gonna have a character, and properties are ID and image, and then name here. And then in the below, we have a query variables editor. So we're going to pass the page equals to, let's say, 0. And now I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna click send. Boom. Now we've got the response for this. Here, one thing interesting here is that we can right click and then we can select the prompt feature. So once you select the prompt feature, and this is, by the way, available in anywhere in the Insomnia, you can double click this and you can define, let's say, title as a page index. And I'm not going to set the default value, but you can also set the default value too. So now I think we need to wrap it with quote for this. Now, when I click send button, it will prompt the model. So now we're going to put, let's say, 2 here. I think this may not work on this side, but we can switch to get characters HTTP request. And we're going to go to query parameters here. And we're going to add page. And then here, we're going to right click and put the prompt. This is basically the same endpoint, but in HTTP REST endpoint. Let's say page index, then done here. And when we click send, we can pass the page index 3, and then it will just pass the page index. So this way you can kind of offload UI work. You can like kick the can of building the UI work when you are, let's say, busy building the feature, shipping the features, but there are some demand for support API. You can just write the API and delegate this to a different team and just let them use Insomnia and handle the support request without building the UI. That's actually what we've been doing as well. So yeah, this is a very useful tip of Insomnia. And now the third request that we're going to take a look at is the gRPC request. And for this, we're going to use our own gRPC server running in the local. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, so once you put the gRPC endpoint URL, you can click the this refresh button, and if your gRPC server supports the server reflection feature, then you can see all the methods of the gRPC in our Insomnia application as well, just like how you would be able to see the introspection schema of GraphQL. And I'm gonna just select the one of the method here and then click send. Now you can see the response here as well. So this way, you can easily test out your gRPC implementation. The next thing is going to be the WebSocket. WebSocket is notoriously difficult to work with, but with Insomnia, it's so easy to test it out. So let's say we're going to use for this, we're going to use the Coinbase's WebSocket. And once you put the WebSocket URL, you can just hit connect button. Okay. The connect button, now it's connected. There's a one-on-one switching protocol here, and there's a log here. The server is successfully connected, and now we're going to send some event message to the WebSocket server. And when you click send, it subscribes the events from the WebSocket server, and you can clear this, or you can select this and see the preview of it, or you can even filter out, let's say, heartbeat events as well. Yeah, this way it's really easy to test out WebSocket without building the UI for it or any JavaScript code. You can just use Insomnia to test things out. You can see the headers, cookies, and the console as well here. And you can also see the history of it too. I'm just gonna click disconnect for now. And as you notice here, once you connect to the WebSocket server here, you can see the green dot that indicates that there's a WebSocket connection running. So you can switch in between. It is still running. Yeah, so I'm just gonna disconnect for now. And there's another feature that is similar to WebSocket. It's called the event stream request. This is actually a server send event. So you can subscribe to a server send event as well. So I'm going to put our local test server send event server. And then once you click connect, it's subscribing the events from the server too. And basically similar UI with the WebSocket. You can filter out message here, or you can just clear this. You can see the header, cookie, console, and the history as well. I'm going to disconnect this for now. So this is a very basic capability of Insomnia. And now we're going to go more deeper into it. And if you guys want, you can follow along as well. So basically what we're going to do now, we're going to set up some Git sync repository. So I'm just going to navigate to my enterprise organization here. And here, instead of clicking the request collection or design document, I'm going to click Git clone. And I'm going to navigate to my GitHub repository. And I'm just going to create a new repository. Let's say choose owner myself and workshop demo repo. And it's gonna public. And then I'm gonna click repository here. And I'm gonna copy this Git repo. And here, and then clone. So now I clone this repo into Insomnia, and what it will do, it will create files, and you can push the new changes to Git repository. So right now, as of now, there's nothing in my Git repository, but I can click commit here, and then you can see here there are new document, base environment, and workshop demo.git. And now I can stash all of them and then commit this change as setting up my first commit and then commit and push. Now, when I commit and push, what happened here is it's going to push to my GitHub repository. So my GitHub repository becomes source of truth. So nothing is stored on Insomnia's API. Nothing is really stored anywhere but your GitHub repository. And you can share the Git repository with your teammates, and this becomes your source of truth. You can do pull requests, you can do whatever you need. But we would recommend to stick to the Insomnia's UI to commit changes and do the merge different branches. So that way you can make sure that it works with Insomnia. So now here, we're going to explore this. This is a design document, by the way. So by default, Git sync is only available with the design document. So if you create a design document from clicking create button and create design document, it'll be the same document, but it will be default to Cloud Sync. So that's the only difference. And pretty much the interface is the same. The way it works is the same. Cloud Sync versus Git Sync is that the source of truth is your GitHub repository versus our database. But when you do a Cloud Sync, it's end-to-end encrypted. So we can't really know what you store. So for the Git Sync, I'm going to use one of the example that I use for KubeCon. Give me 1 second here, KubeCon. You can go to the this repository, github.com/con/KubeCon Insomnia, and click the OpenAPI spec file. And we're going to just copy all of this and then paste it here. But before we do that, let's go to the collections tab here. There's nothing in this collections tab. There's nothing in the test tab. We're going to copy paste the this OpenAPI spec. Now you can see the Swagger preview of this OpenAPI spec with endpoints and the server host URL. You can click this button to toggle on and off that view. You can click this gear button and click generate collection. So when you click generate collection button, it will generate the request collection based on your OpenAPI spec, as you can see here. And you can play around with it. So there's a base URL here, which is propagated by our OpenAPI spec. So when I click this one, there is host URL as well. So I'm just going to rename this because it's quite big, quite long. So let's say I'm going to rename it as a remote here. And then I'm going to give a different color as well, so it's easier to differentiate between the environments. I'm going to click close, and I'm going to select the remote environment here. And now when I click send button, it sent the request. It's unauthorized. This is expected behavior right now, but it does work, right? So there's the latency here, header, and you can see the handshake here. I'm just going to reorganize the order of it. Yeah. So now for these requests to work, we need to have authorization header. So I'm going to create one more request, and I'm going to name it as get token. And I'm going to put the base URL here, base URL, and then get token endpoint. So when I click send, I receive a token. This is like very, simple API. So there's no JWT. So now we got this token value, and we need to pass this token value to the authorization header of this request. So let's say we're going to select API key here, and then we're going to set authorization header, and then the value will be this. And when I click send, 1 second, authorization. Yeah. Oh, that's why. When I click send, now I can successfully send a request with authorization, right? So if you have to do this one by one, that's kind of manual. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the folder level authorization. So I'm just going to remove this, and I'm going to switch from API key auth type from this to inherit from parent. So this is the by default. Every request that you create under the folder, it will have this option selected by default. So now what's even better is you can get the request and put the request response into the environment variable. So this only works within the your local machine after you send a first request, and then use that environment variable as authorization header. So that's what we're gonna do right now using scripts feature. So in the script stack, there is pre-request script as well as the after response script that I mentioned in the presentation. Pre-request script is literally some JavaScript logic to be run before you send the request, and after response script is after you receive the response. So for this case, we're gonna select the after response script. And this is basically some editor for JavaScript. And below here, there is some code snippets, right? So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna select the test util code snippet. We're gonna check if the status is 200. It's assertion here. And then we're gonna select the response handling. We're gonna get the response body. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to get the variable snippets, and we're gonna set the environment variable like within this collection. So you can also set the global variable too, but that's not really relevant in this case. So I'm gonna set the local environment variable here. So here I'm gonna name this as API key, and then I'm gonna select JSON body dot token as the token is here. And now when we check the environment variable model here, there's no entry called the API key. The moment that I click send button, it is populating now with the API key, right? So now we can go to the test folder and we can select the API key as the auth method. And then we're going to put authorization key as a header key. And then we're going to select underscore dot, and it will propagate the dropdown and API key. So now we set the folder level authorization. Now when I click send button, it just works, right? And then I can populate a new grocery. And when I do it again, there's a grocery item string. And then I can delete the grocery as well. So then when I go back here, it's empty. So that is the other folder level configuration. So now this is kind of like, steps to test an API. So what we can also do here is we can treat the folder as like a test assertion case. So let's say, for example, successfully, let's say assert successful grocery addition and cleanup. So that is the test case. And the first thing we're going to do here is in the script here, after response script, we're going to assert the status to be 200. And then we're going to get the body, and we're going to expect the body. We're going to expect the JSON body dot groceries dot length to be 0. We can do that, right? Because at first it's a clean state. There's no grocery item should be there. So when I click send here, test passed, right? And now here, when you actually add something, I'm gonna change this to a salad instead because string is not really the grocery item. When I pass salad, then it should be successfully added, right? So we're going to just assert the status code to be 200 only. And then I'm going to duplicate get the grocery item here with a new item added. And I'm going to put in next here. The order kind of matters here. So now when you fetch this, it should be 1, right? So, and then after that, so I'm going to send the, so 2, 1 second. Oh, because I deleted here. So if I send it again, 200. And then when I send this again, then it's 200 because now it is one item here, right? And then we're gonna delete that too. Salad here. And then I'm going to duplicate this again with after deletion. Then put it to the next tier, and then this after response group should be 0. So now when I click send here, it's empty as well, right? So this is kind of like test case, right? So now what we can do here is that we can go to the this plus play run button with the play icon. When we click this is a collection runner feature that we recently shipped. You can select it all and you can run them one by one. Boom, here. So there's a test result here as well as the history and console. And you can set up as many iterations you want to run with some delay. Let's say, for example, we're going to run 3 times each second. So I'm going to click run again. So first iteration, second iteration, and the third iteration. Boom. So that basically serves as like a test as well. And you can share this collection with anybody in your team member. So now we've configured this and we're going to click commit and stage all the changes here. You can see all the diff view here. It's human readable. And then I'm gonna write the commit as setting up a basic test case to assert grocery addition and cleanup successfully. And then click commit and push. Now, when we go to the GitHub repo, my GitHub repo, not the Kong one, home here, and oh, I forgot the name of it. Is it workshop? Yeah, workshop demo. So we've just got the GitHub commit pushed, right? So that's basically how Git sync work. And as long as you have collaborators in this repo, you can share this with anybody in your organization. And if this manual setup is a little bit cumbersome and you want to really own the security layer of it, like who can be shared of what, then you can use Cloud Sync, which is end-to-end encrypted. So that's basically the GitHub repo, so Git Sync feature demo. And now the next thing we're going to do here is that we're going to create a very simple, kind of same Cloud Sync documentation. So this one, when I invite a new user or a team member to my organization, this document will not be available right away. The person has to clone it. So there's a manual step involved here. So I'm gonna demonstrate the Cloud Sync capability now. So when I click design document here, let's say this is Cloud Sync, and I'll do the same thing with the same OpenAPI spec, but here instead of going back here, I can click search button, and I can say, let's say workshop demo. I can search and I can just click this and navigate there. So easy, right? And then I can press Command P again, and then Cloud Sync demo here. So yeah, I can just navigate in between the documents just by search. It's like a spotlight search functionality. I'm gonna copy paste this. We get the same thing. Collection tab has nothing right now. And I can just click generate collection. And then I can set up the environment variable here too. Name this as a cloud remote. And the color to be, let's say, I'm gonna do green color for now. And then when I click send here, everything is not working right now, but I'm going to just click the HTTP request, get token, same thing, base URL, and get token here, click send, and then I'm just going to set the folder level API key only, and then that's it. After response script here, I'm going to sort the status code. This way kind of we repeat so you guys can remember this more. And then response handling, get the JSON body, and we're going to select the variable snippet, set environment variable, API key, and then JSON body dot token. And now click send. We're gonna have this API key here, and then this one we're gonna set up the API key, authorization, and then underscore, and then API key. So now when I click send button, it will be 200. So now I can basically do the same thing. Here we have a exactly same view as GitSync interface. I'm gonna click commit and stash all the changes, setting up the initial repo, and I can click commit and push. So now here in the billings view, this is the organization that I was in this UI. And this billings view, there is a dashboard right now. So this is what you're going to see once you sign into the Insomnia application on the web. Maybe we can just go through this one more time together. I'm going to log out, and I'm going to do Okta and then continue with email. And I'm going to put the verification code 490509. So when I sign in, the first thing that I'm going to see is the dashboard. And in this dashboard, you see the organizations that you own, and you're going to also see organizations that you are part of as a different sections. As I said, the personal workspace, everybody gets personal workspace, and then this building organization is what I own, and I can create a new organization. Let's say I gotta create a workshop organization. I can create a workshop organization as well. I can go in here, and I can go to the advanced tab and delete the organization. So now in the billing organization, when you navigate to it, there is invite form here, and then there's a collaborator view. You can see the pending invite. When you send an invitation, there's a pending invite, and there is a Teams feature. So within the organization, you can invite a subgroup of organization. So if you are in the enterprise account, you can create teams. And in the teams, you can invite members to the teams, and you can invite the entire group of the team into the organization. So when I click manage here, I have only myself right now. And this is, by the way, a scheme integrated team. So so that's a team that is currently part of this peeling organization. I'm going to go back to the teams page again. And here in the testing team, I have several users. So Min Kim, for example, is a user, Mark Kim Test, and Hong Zong. So I'm going to invite this testing team into the organization. So testing team, and then click invite. So now I invited the testing team to the organization. And now I'm going to also do a couple more other things. So when I go to the enterprise control here, you see storage control here. When you go to the storage tab, you can configure the policy around storage. So all the personal workspaces under your enterprise account, you want to mandate, let's say, local vault only or cloud sync only. So you can make sure that nobody stores anything in their personal workspace for the cloud, or you want to mandate everything should be cloud storage. You can apply the same thing with organizations too. So let's say for all organizations, you want to do hybrid. But for billing, I want to make sure only a cloud sync is the only option. Then you cannot create local vault or git sync capability. You can only do a cloud sync. So I'm not going to do this because billing has some git sync as well. So I'm just going to leave it as is for now. And also in the invites tab, you can also mandate all domains. So that means basically there's no policy around it, or you can only allow verified domains to be sent as an invitation, or you can even add a custom domain here. So let's say if I do a verified domain here, markimoktatest.com, it shows the verified. I can even send like gmail.com, it's unverified. Like, why would you do that? But it is possible. Yeah, so you can configure that for all organization or billing organization only. So you have a customization capability here too. We're gonna get back to the domains as well as SSO and scheme capability, but for now, we're going to sign into a different account, so you can see different view as a person who's shared of the collection. I think we're still good with the time for now. I'm going to sign out, and then I'm going to click continue with SSO. And then now, as you can see here, this is minkim@markimoktatest.com. And I'm going to put my passphrase, and I can launch. And when I navigate here, I can see the cloud sync here. Everything is already pulled. So I can just basically select the environment variable and just run everything. So I can even get new token and then get the list of collections. Just works. So imagine that you have a new team member onboarded. All you need to do, instead of sending curl script in the text snippets, is just to invite the person to the organization, and this person will be able to pull everything and start playing around with the API right away. So it really helps your productivity as a team. So now we're going back to my original account. And when I go to the invite control here, invite control here, there's an SSO capability here. But to really do this, you have to set up the domains first. So you can create a domain and provide us with the TXT record and have it verified. Then you can configure SSO. Right now, I already have it configured for the demo purpose, but you will see a plus new SSO connection button. When you click it, you'll be able to see in this page with the form, you can select the verified domains and then provide the SSO URL as well as the audience collection to your IDP. Currently, it is configured with the Okta, and then grab the sign-in URL from your IDP as well as the signing certificate. And once you put that, you will see create connection button. So once you create that connection, you will see enable button instead of disable, and you can just click it and it will enable enterprise SSO. Then everybody with this domain will be able to sign in with enterprise SSO as long as they are assigned to your IDP's application for Insomnia. And once you set up the SSO, now you can start using scheme feature. So it will be turned off. I'm not going to turn it off for now. Maybe I'll just do it for the sake of demonstration. When we click the, this is going to be what you're going to be seeing after you just set up the SSO. And when you toggle on the switch, it will pop up a model, create scheme token. And then once you click continue, Then it will provide you with the scheme connector base URL and then email, as well as the authorization token. You're going to grab this authorization token, and then you will um, navigate to your IDP side. 1 second, let me just sign into. You'll navigate to your IDP side, and you can go to the provisioning tab and go to integration, and you can put the authorization key as a bearer token and save. I should have tested first. Let me just test it. Test the connection. Okay, so now this is tested. And now when you go to the directory, you can create a new user, let's say. For example, let's say this is going to be Jess Kim, Kim at markimoptatest.com. By the way, this user has to have the verified domain. If your IDP site is pushing to our scheme endpoint with invalid domain, we will reject it because it's a security vulnerability, right? So it needs to be verified domain. And then I'm going to set the password here, and I'm going to click save. And the moment that I create a new user and assign this user to an application, assign here, you will see instant update in our license page. So now it's provisioned. And when we go to the licenses page here, there's Jess Kim, right? So we just provisioned this account. And now we can go to the groups, and there is let's say, I'm going to create a new group, let's say workshop demo group, save. And then the workshop demo group, I'm going to assign people, Jess Kim here or Hongzang as well, and then click done. And we go to the application, and then we're going to assign this group to the application. Workshop demo assign, save and go back, done. And then go to the push groups, and we're going to push group by name, workshop, and then save. Now it's pushing, active now. That means pushing is finished. Now when we go to the teams page, there's a workshop demo group that was populated, pushed by the IDP side. So now you can assign this to an organization. You see here, there's no org link, but we can go back to the organization page in the billing organization page, and I can search. Let's say I was a workshop, and then click invites. Okay, second. I think there's a bug here. Sorry, yeah, it's not it. Oh, I think it's something to do with the feature flagging. Oh, yeah, 10. This one. I think I got kicked out of the session. Second. Zoom is it's like
Mark, while you're figuring that out there,
yeah.
just because we're at the last 5 minutes of the session, I'm just going to invite folks that if you do have a question that you want answered before we wrap up for time today, please start dropping those in the Q&A tab, and we'll make sure to get to those as well.
I think there's a slight bug that we need to fix on the this view. There is a assignment to an organization that happened, but as you can see, there's an org link, but the propagation of that table was not. It's only the view only. So I think we need to fix that. But as you can see, there's a billing organization link is happened. So yeah, sorry about that. We're gonna work on fixing. This is a very new feature, so we're gonna improve this, and we're gonna make a GA release this week. So it's not released yet, so I just gave you a preview of the new feature. So we're gonna fix this and make a GA release. But yeah, so that was how you can control the security layer of Insomnia with Enterprise Edition. Is there any question in the Q&A?
I've been going through and answering a couple questions here in the chat. We had a few questions around pricing. And then just one call out for folks who joined a little bit late. We will share the recording and any links referenced via email later today.
Yeah. So Insomnia free tier licensing calls. Yes, go to the you can go to the insomnia.res/pricing, and if you want to learn about enterprise pricing, you can contact the sales as well. Thank you so much for your time, and please feel free to reach out as well if you have any further question after the session. Thank you so much.